It was the last day of October, and the wind in Monster Forest howled like a wolf with very, very cold feet. Leaves danced in the air like orange and yellow butterflies, and every tree whispered its own secrets to the sky. And right in the middle of it all was Labubu, a mischievous little forest creature with wide eyes and wild fur, who absolutely loved Halloween. He had spent the entire day decorating his cozy house. He had spiderwebs, real ones, thanks to his spider friends. He hung glowing pumpkins from every branch and was busy preparing his all-time favorite snack, freshly toasted beetles with a sweet honey drizzle. But tonight was special. Labubu wasn't just planning to scare others, he wanted to be scared too. He even made a big, bold sign and hammered it outside his door. Enter if you dare, scare me if you can. As the sun disappeared behind the hills and the moon crept up like a giant silver balloon, the forest came alive with spooky sounds. Then he heard it. Knock, knock. Labubu jumped, a wide grin spreading across his face. Finally, he whispered, rushing to the door. Outside stood a tiny little skeleton with wobbly knees. Trick or treat, it squeaked in a tiny voice. Labubu couldn't help but giggle. You're way too cute to be scary. But here, have a toasted beetle. One by one, more monsters came. There were ghosts, goblins, and even a vampire bunny with long, floppy ears. But none of them, not a single one, managed to truly scare Labubu. In fact, he usually ended up scaring them with his toothy grin and a sudden, loud boo. Just as he was about to give up all hope of getting a real good scare, something strange happened. All the forest lights went out. The pumpkins stopped glowing. The wind froze in its tracks. Even the crickets fell silent. Then tap, tap, tap. It wasn't a knock. It wasn't a footstep. It was just tapping. Labubu's fur stood on end. Probably just a bat, he told himself, trying to sound brave. But bats don't tap, they flutter. He peeked out the window. Nothing, only the full moon glowing eerily behind a cloud. Then he turned around and saw it. A shadow inside his house. It was tall, so tall it almost reached the ceiling. Its face was hidden deep beneath a dark cloak, and it didn't speak. Labubu blinked, his heart thumping. Trick or treat? The shadow didn't move. Okay, Labu said, his voice trembling a little. If this is a prank, you win. Seriously, I'm scared. Still, the shadow said nothing. Labubu gulped too. The shadow finally raised a long, slow hand and pointed at Labubu's table, right at the plate of honey-drizzled beetles. It took a silent step forward. Labubu backed up. You want a snack? The silence was deafening. Then, slowly, the shadow reached out, took a single beetle and lifted its cloak, revealing a tiny face. It was a shy, wrinkled creature with droopy ears and the saddest eyes Labubu had ever seen. Labubu gasped. You're not a monster. The creature nodded slowly. I'm a forgotten Halloween spirit. Labubu was confused. A what? The spirit's voice was like a faint whisper. A spirit who once made Halloween magical. I helped children laugh and feel brave. But over time, people forgot about the magic. They turned Halloween into just candy and costumes. So I faded away. Labubu's heart softened. That's why you're so quiet. The spirit nodded. I heard about you, the creature who still loves the real Halloween. I wanted to visit one last time, just to remember what it felt like. Labubu didn't hesitate for a second. He jumped up, grabbed his party horn, and with a flick of a switch, the pumpkin lights suddenly glowed again, brighter than before. He tossed the spirit a little paper party hat. Then you're not going anywhere. You're staying for the Halloween feast. The spirit blinked, surprised. Feast, of course. We have toasted beetles, worm muffins, bat wing chips. We even have eyeball punch. For the first time in many, many years, the spirit smiled. That night, the forest glowed brighter than ever. Monsters danced, the trees clapped their branches like hands, and Labubu and the once-forgotten spirit shared stories late into the night. From that Halloween on, the spirit was never forgotten again. Every year, creatures from all over would visit Labubu's treehouse, not just for the scares, but to feel the true magic of Halloween, friendship, courage, and remembering those we almost lost. Because sometimes the scariest shadow is just someone who needs a little kindness. Thanks so much for watching our spooky story. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures. See you next time.